Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Technology Insights with FTB. Today, I am really looking forward to deep diving into a new app that is opening for everybody in oil and gas industry. I think it's incredible. They've been around for a little while now, and Mark Hannigan is one of the co-founders. He's not new to the oil and gas industry, and he found a problem that he created a solution for it with an amazing team. And this app is called Mobilize. And I am just really looking forward to getting to kind of who you are, Mark, what your background is, how you even got into this and the idea behind the app. And today in this space in oil and gas, like doing these things is so important in allowing access to individuals that are out there and ready to take on jobs in the field, and giving them something at their fingertips. I think is really revolutionizing the way that we can work today. So, Mark, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, Jamie, and thank you for the opportunity for us to tell our story and to talk a little bit about Mobilize.
Yeah, of course. So, Mark, so that the people know who you are, what your background is, tell us, how did you get into oil and gas? When I first started speaking with you, I heard your accent. So I was like, okay, where are you from? And tell me what made you interested in the energy industry.
Okay, so as you say, I'm originally from Scotland, but I've been in Texas for 14 years, raised my family here, so this is home. Been working in the energy sector for most of my life. How did I get to the States and how did I get into oil and gas? I worked for a kind of UK publicly listed kind of Fortune 500 type industrial pump company called Weir Group, and we sold pumps to power stations and oil fields and refineries. So even when I was in Scotland, I was immersed in the kind of energy side of things, and obviously we have the North Sea at the top of Scotland too. The company I worked for got acquired by a private equity fund, and my reaction was, "What's private equity?" Because I didn't know, and that quite soon afterwards, the new investors made an acquisition of a business in Houston, and they needed a kind of divisional president to parachute into that business. So me and my family upped sticks 14 years ago and moved over to Texas, and the rest is history.
So tell me a little bit about what made you think of having a solution for those field individuals. Because when we spoke, you told me about while you're working in the oil and gas industry, you did find it difficult sometimes to find guys for certain hitches, or more importantly, energy is not just related to oil and gas. So you've got wind, you've got solar, we talked about nuclear. There's different aspects of our industry where people's skill sets can go different directions. So they don't just have to be directly related to drilling applications. So tell me a little bit about your background in that and how Mobilize was birthed from this idea.
Sure. So the last time I had a proper job, so to speak, was as CEO of an offshore drilling services company, private equity backed, called Allrig. That company's still going. It's a fabulous company. They've got a great team. And a huge part of that business involved us we had our kind of like full-time workforce, but then we also heavily relied on contract workers for kind of project work and to manage the peaks and troughs of client demand, and our projects would be all over the world. So we were constantly wrestling with trying to find the right people who would work for the right day rate, who had the right skills, who had the right visa to go to this country and were available on those dates. And that process was completely chaotic. We would work with our own Rolodex and staffing agencies and kind of online job boards that were in their infancy, but it was absolute chaos. We could never find the right people at the right time, the right place. This is like 10 years ago. And at that time, in the B2C environment as a consumer, service marketplaces were popping up in my personal life all the time, Airbnb, DoorDash, Uber, And I was saying to my HR team, why is there not just an app for this? Why can't I just say I need 5 rope access workers, Angola, 3 months, $600 a day, hit the button, and we just find them. What's the problem here? And I would get like blank stares, and then I kind of realized I'm gonna have to do this myself. But I didn't do it myself. So I then left that role and contemplated starting the app. I'm not a tech guy. I'm an industrial guy, so I don't know how to build an app. And I know not a lot about recruitment either. Mm-hmm. So not entirely well qualified for it, but I do understand the problem statement. And then I'm at a dinner and I bump into this guy randomly at black tie dinner who runs an energy staffing agency, a very successful global energy staffing agency, bricks and mortar. Kind of the people we were dealing with, to solve the problem. And I would say to him, I've been thinking about doing an app for all of that, but it would disrupt your industry. And he kind of said, well, we know that disruption's coming, and we would rather be the meteor than the dinosaur. And we've been thinking about doing an app. So we kind of joined forces, and that gave us the recruitment expertise. We had the market expertise. We just had to find some tech people to build the app, but that's how it came about.
So tell me so the aspect of the app is so that you go in, you can place, so is it just for users or for those looking for a role, or can also you place jobs on the app? So tell me a little bit about the structure of the app and how both companies and those searching for a job can utilize it.
Yeah. Okay. So it's just before I do all of that. So we're, the way people find jobs in the energy sector and the way companies find people, the way that's done was literally designed in the last century. That's not an exaggeration. Like the MSPs and the processes that they use are from the 90s. It's literally software from the 90s. And if you think about how every other aspect of our lives have moved on, in terms of how we book holidays, do banking, meet friends, it's so archaic. So all we're trying to do is make the process of managing your career or finding talent similar to ordering a new table lamp on Amazon, literally at that speed, with that ease, that beautiful user experience. The data and the technology does the hard work. So that's what we're trying to achieve. In terms of how it works, Mobilize, just like Airbnb and Uber, is a two-sided marketplace. At Uber, you have people who drive cabs and you have people who need rides. Our two-sided marketplace is primarily energy contract workers who need a hitch or need a gig, and companies who need contract workers for a period of time. So both of those stakeholders, if you like, the way that they get served by the market right now is really pretty crummy, pretty crappy. So we think transformed the user experience for both the hiring person and the worker, and I'll speak about them both separately. So which one would you like to talk about first?
Talk about the hiring. I want to know a little bit about how the person that's looking to hire someone, how they are utilizing the app and what that process looks like.
Okay, so there's a couple of ways. So let's say you're energy company XYZ. You're probably finding your contract workers right now. Maybe you have an in-house crewing team who spend, or HR team, or maybe you just utilize external staffing agencies. It kind of depends on the size of the company and stuff. But everybody will be, posting jobs on their website. They will be mining Indeed, LinkedIn jobs, some of the Facebook groups, that kind of thing. It's a whole lot of work, and we have a few clients. Some of the bigger clients who've said to us, if I can get half a dozen really good resumes in 3 days, that's probably my yardstick. that just blows my mind. In like 2025, that it should take that long. It doesn't take that long. So with Mobilize, we can either give you like a customer portal, like a web portal for that can API into everything you're already doing and just publish the jobs on Mobilize, or you can just tell us where you're already posting, and we'll scrape them and we'll do all the hard work and we'll post them. But you'll get an AI-driven, skills-matched short list of candidates from Mobilize in minutes, not 3 minutes, not 3 days. I mean, and you'll be able to chat interactively with those candidates right there in the portal. You'll be able to save your favorite candidates to a bench of talent. You'll be able to grade people, 1 through 5 stars, like you do with a hotel on Expedia. Just a much more modern day kind of user experience. And I can back that up by saying all day, every day, myself and my amazing co-founders, Chris and Andy from Jab Recruitment, I got to give them a shout out. That was the bricks and mortar staffing agency that they still run. We do demos like what I'm talking about right now. And in the live demo, we'll say, for example, give us a job, whatever. What do you typically hire for? And live in that demo, they'll have a short list before we've even finished doing the demo and the meeting of candidates, and not just any old candidates. That Indeed, LinkedIn are great tools, but if you've ever used them to find people, you don't always get the exact type of person that you're looking for. Whereas we've got a skills matching algorithm that is better than that, and I can explain why we can do things so much faster. But I'll give a little demo on this call. But that's the gist of it. So it's a transformationally faster, better user experience for the hiring company. And even if you don't want to do the posting of your jobs on the tool, we'll just do it all for you.
And how many companies today do you have on your tool, on the app working?
There are roles on Mobilize from, I want to say 50 oil and gas companies, most of the big ones you can think of, Halliburton, Hess, companies like that. Now, not all of those guys are formally paying us to help them. A lot of that, because of the phase we're at and the evolution of the business, we're just proactively on our own steam, scraping their public jobs, using our smart mousetrap to get high quality shortlist, and then kind of unsolicited presenting the shortlist to someone like a Baker and saying, hey, look how much better this shortlist of people is than what you're getting from conventional methods. Don't you want to sign up for Mobilize?
And then for the user, so myself, I'm looking for a job.
Yes.
I get on your app. Is there a fee for me to join your app? And do I just go on and then I can start liking jobs, or how does that part work?
Okay, great. I'm so glad we get to talk about this, because I've talked a little bit about how the hiring company person gets shortchanged with a bad experience with the 1990s way of doing things. But if you think that's bad, the way the worker gets treated in the energy sector, oh my God. At Mobilize, we believe that energy workers should be regarded in society like first responders, like the way we thought about nurses during COVID, or firefighters during forest fires. And the reason I say that is, everybody, when you're tucked up in your bed, snug with your nice, warm or air-conditioned cooled house, and you've got power and you're charging your phone, there's somebody in the pitch dark somewhere in North Dakota in the middle of the night, living in a man camp, making that possible for you. And society, we need to elevate these amazing people in the eyes of society. So we've built a tool that puts them back in control. So let me continue a little bit about the life of the energy worker. So if you're a contract energy worker, then you're probably you'll be on a hitch, you'll be in a man camp, you'll be at a gas station, you'll be at a helipad. And first, you don't have a home office, right? You live on your phone. Everything's on your phone. So when someone says to you, print me off your resume and scan it and send it to, you're like, I'm in a pickup truck on a 400-mile drive to Midland. Very, very difficult. So that's first thing, understand your customer. That's why it's an app and not a website, because energy workers are mobile. Beyond that, you'll probably spend your life waiting on callbacks. You're on the books of 2 or 3 staffing agencies. Sometimes they call you back, sometimes they don't. They have their favorite people. And those 3 staffing agencies only give you line of sight of a tiny piece of the market. So it's not great. They don't, and I've heard of people getting to the helipad and then the job gets canceled on them and all sorts of horror stories. So what we've created is an app that's like a Facebook or an Instagram or an Amazon experience. You build your profile one time only. You only ever do it one time, upload your certificates. We'll scrape your LinkedIn, your resume. You tell us exactly what you do. Maybe you're a NDT inspector or something, and tell us types of jobs you're looking for, which regions, what day rate do you want to get paid, any companies you don't want to work for. You do it one time and that's it. And you will only ever hear from Mobilize via a push notification if a job comes up that's exactly what you're looking for. So you can't search for jobs on Mobilize. The jobs find you. So you tell us who you are and what you're looking for, and then you'll be in Starbucks or Kroger, and your phone will go bing, and the exact type of job you're looking for that meets all your criteria will pop up on your screen. All you have to do is swipe left if you can't make it or you're already mobilized, or swipe right to say, yeah, I'd like to be shortlisted for that. That's all you do. Just swipe left, swipe right.
That's so cool. I love that. And you have a demo or a video or something that you wanted to show too that might be able to like kind of give the user interface for those that are viewing.
Yeah, make it real for people. So we've got a 2-minute video, and there's like a voiceover with a more familiar accent than mine. And if we can play that, okay, and then I can talk a little bit about it.
Perfect. So I just added it to the screen. If you want to hit play on your end, Mark.
Okay, sure.
Welcome to Mobilize, the smarter, faster way to connect top talent with real opportunity, specifically built for the energy industry. Whether you're an employer searching for the right workers or a professional ready for your next role, Mobilize takes the stress out of the process and streamlines every step. Employers get instant access to qualified talent in real time. Workers, imagine never having to apply for a job again. With Mobilize, the jobs find you. Let's walk through how to get started on the Worker app. Download the Mobilize app. It only takes a minute to set up your profile. Sign up by creating your account. Upload your CV and connect your LinkedIn profile. Select your job roles and highlight your relevant skills. Tell us how you like to spend your downtime. This helps us reward you when you reach the top of the Mobilize leaderboard. Complete your profile by adding your certifications in your secure wallet. Then you start receiving job matches instantly. All you got to do is swipe right on jobs you're interested in, swipe left to skip, or share the role with someone in your network. Then sit back, relax, and get ready to be mobilized. It's as simple and fast as that. Now let's look at the client platform. Employers, slash your time to hire by up to 90%.
Sorry?
I was going to have you pause it really quick. So when you said swipe left or swipe right, so if I'm going in and I'm like, oh, I want that job, and I swipe, who contacts me?
Probably someone from Mobilize, but it could be the employer directly, and probably through the chat rather than like calling you. So right there in the app, you'll usually get a response pretty quick saying, hey, I saw you swiped right and you want to be considered for this role. Just want to verify you definitely have a visa, or you definitely have the API certificate to do this. So you'll hear from either the Mobilize team or the hiring company very quickly in the end.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Shall I keep going with this?
Yep.
Video? Okay. For the other side.
Your cost per hire by up to 50%, all with the power of Mobilize at your fingertips. First, the Mobilize team sets up your client account in seconds. You can easily add users and departments to your analytics dashboard. Invite favorite workers in your private talent pool. published job opportunities to go live on the Mobilize app in seconds. Now you are in the game. Our AI instantly generates a shortlist of suggested candidates for you. Review workers who have swiped right on your job. Communicate directly with workers in app. Shortlist your top candidates. Approve a worker directly or share your shortlist with your hiring manager. Finally, mark them as hired, and you're ready to mobilize your new workers. The team at Mobilize has revolutionized the way talent and opportunity connects across the energy industry globally. It's time for you to mobilize.
That's it.
That's really neat. So tell me, if what has success look like? So how many users have you had utilize the app so far, and what kind of like success stories do you have where somebody actually swiped, and then how long was the process, or did they share that with you, from swiping to getting on Hitch, and what that looked like for them, since it's very different than the old way of processing where you find a job, you apply, you get an email, like this whole thing happens.
Yeah, we've had people same day, like during the same business day, from initial ping to yes, I'd like to be considered, to a little bit of clarification in the messaging, to the hiring manager reviewing and then saying hire. That's not that unusual for it all to happen within a few hours. The feedback we get, well, the feedback from hiring company people is, I love this. It cuts out all the middlemen. Like I can save so much time here. It's so efficient. It takes me right to the person I'm trying to speak to. But the workers just, kind of nobody shows them any love. Nobody designs stuff for them. So the response we've had, we have 4,000 users right now. It's growing pretty fast. We're heading for 10,000, but we've got 4,000 users, and the popularity of the app with workers, I think, is evidenced by, we have 4,000 users, but we have 12,000 shares of the app, meaning that on average, every user is sending it to 3 of their buddies to say, hey, now as a business, we're like, oh my God, this is so good. Our users are finding more users for us. So from a business perspective, this is great, but you have to ask yourself, why is that happening? These guys get no love from the tech world. They are unsung heroes. Nobody tries to make things easier for them. I have a vision of my mobilized energy worker, laying by the pole, like, maybe cold beer in hand, 3 push notifications saying, I don't want that one because it's Thanksgiving and I'm with family. I definitely want to be shortlisted for that one. And that's a company I've never worked for before. I'd like to, all like, without leaving the sun lounger. That's where we can talk a little bit about cross fuel type opportunities in a minute, but the response to the app has been this is how we should be doing things. As I said to you in the pre-meeting, Jamie, this is how recruitment works in other industries now. It's not even new. If you're a web designer or you work in retail or hospitality or healthcare, this is how people find jobs and jobs find people. We didn't invent the talent marketplace. We're just doing it for energy.
Yeah, one thing that I really liked when we spoke was you talked about like cross-pollinating between industries within energy. And with all of the different aspects of, we talked about nuclear or hydrogen or wind, and like all the different things that, have come up in our space. We do find workers in certain parts of the year and their certain season not being able to work for that specific operator or plant because it's shut down. So then you even mentioned that they do like odd jobs during this time, like a very skilled worker having to like be a park ranger was one thing that you had mentioned. How has this app really changed that for them and opened their eyes to different opportunities?
Yeah, this is another layer of problem we have in the industry, where the energy workforce is so siloed and fragmented, and the plumbing that connects all the supply with all of the demand is completely broken. That's what we're trying to fix. So, for example, the one you mentioned, I did some work pre-Mobilize with a company who had like 300 inspectors who just did nuclear power plant shutdowns. And they were all like NDT inspectors. And the way that works is on the shoulder seasons in the US, spring and fall, when the power load is lower, all the plants do sequential shutdowns, all the inspectors go in. They get like 2.5 months, 10 weeks of great work, 10 weeks of great work. And when I would talk to the workers, the inspectors, they would tell me that in summer and winter, there's no work. So they would like go be park rangers and stuff. And I'm saying, you're like a level 3 NDT inspector and you can't get work. I said, you know, in the oil field, like there's work for you all year round. And they're like, no, I don't know. And I wouldn't know I wouldn't know how to find those jobs. I just go be a park ranger. I'd love to work on day rate all year. That just completely blew my mind. I thought, so we have to find a way that, so the way that it works in Mobilize, let's say I'm that person. So I build my profile. I say what I do. I'm a nuclear inspector. So I'm going to get push notifications. Hey, this plant's shutting down in 4 weeks. Are you available? This is the rate. But what I'm also going to get is, hey, I know it's not your regular stuff, but here are some jobs over in an adjacent market, oil field or renewables. Some of them you're readily qualified for. Some of them, if you just did this one day course at the local training center, you'd be qualified, and this is the day rate you could get. So you're suddenly, there's two-sided benefit to that. The workforce is getting democratized and opened up to all the opportunity through the tool, and the employers are getting access to new talent, incremental new talent that's not in their existing kind of talent horizon. So it just seems crazy to me that, you know, that guy's going and being a park ranger. That just blows my, and no doubt there's some refinery somewhere or some rig well pad needing an NDT inspector in December and can't find one, and that guy's in like Yellowstone, you know, like, I don't know, dealing with tourists.
Yeah, that was one thing that really struck me when we spoke, and I thought that was really great to have a resource for those that are in the field that have the capability to work in different industries, and that can kind of open their mind to those opportunities. I really like that, especially for the energy worker. As you said, they're like your first responders. They help us in all times of need, and I love how y'all are giving back to that. What are some questions that you get when you first, show this to a customer, a potential customer, or potential user? I didn't see many questions yet come through LinkedIn, and so I just would like to, what are some of the common ones that you get?
Well, candidly, the first thing a customer says is, how much is it going to cost me?
Yeah.
That's what every oil and gas customer says to every vendor every day. So let's just address that. The answer is it depends. There's kind of two ways as an employer you can use Mobilize. If you want to just use it as a search tool to find better people faster and build your talent team, and then you're going to do all the direct hiring with your in-house HR and all that, it's just a flat SaaS fee to use the tool. If you don't do all of your in-house hiring, like you typically do that through staffing agencies, like workers' comp and insurance and all that, a lot of companies outsource that. If you work that way and you want to both find people and have all of that taken care of, then it's free to use the tool, and we just make a fee on all of that back end stuff. So it's either very cheap or free is the answer. Or let's say no incremental cost. There's no such thing as free, no incremental cost. That's to the hiring company. Second thing they say is, how's your jobs board different from LinkedIn or Indeed? And we say we're not a jobs board. That's not how it works. Just as people can't search for jobs, you can't search for workers as such. You publish the project or the piece of work, and our smart AI finds the exact people that can do that. It's not a tool for speculatively looking around as to, it's not a jobs board, not a jobs board.
I like that. I didn't realize that's a very valid point. It's not a jobs board. You don't go on there and scroll. You are lined up based on the inputs that you have in there. AI reads it and puts out what they think you're good for, or for the latter, what the customer might need based on the profile.
Yeah, exactly. Not a jobs board, it's a talent marketplace. And there's a little interesting sidebar here about the migration to contract working and freelance working, and people having side hustles and people wanting more control. The whole job for life with the big corporate W-2, climb the ladder. Yeah, Gen Zs and millennials they just do not want that. They want to work when they want. They maybe want a side hustle. They maybe want 3 different jobs. They maybe want to take the summer off. So we have a workforce population that, I mean, I'm 52, right? So I think very differently. I'm a Gen X. I'm a Gen X. So couldn't even remember, but if I think of my son and my nieces and nephews and stuff, younger people want to engage with the workplace marketplace on their own terms. So we got to recognize that, and they want more optionality and they want more control. So that's a macro theme. Whether Mobilize happens or not, that's a societal thing that's happening.
No, that's so true. And I think what y'all are doing and creating in this space is so important. And I'm just so glad so many people were able to hear and understand what Mobilize is and what y'all are doing. Where can people find you? What do you like? What's the next step for those that are like, okay, A, I want to talk to you because I'm a company and I want to see how I can get involved. And then B, I'm looking for a job. How do I get involved? Where do I go?
Great. So let me take the worker first. It could not be easier. It's on the App Store. It's on the Play Store. You can do it while you're watching this webinar. You literally go into the App Store, Play Store, just type in Mobilize. Mobilize Me is the name of the app, and it's all just like all the apps. It's completely intuitive, self-explanatory. Just download it. You can try building your profile. Just see what pops up. You got nothing to lose. It's free. So it couldn't be easier for a worker, for a company. You can hit us up on the website. You can hit us up on LinkedIn, any of Facebook, Instagram, any of our channels. We'll get a free demo lined up for you, or I can send you that video that I just played to give you an idea. But we have team in the US, team in the UK. We'll jump on the phone. We'll tell you, like I said, really low cost or no incremental cost. What have you got to lose?
Oh, that's great. And lastly, I didn't get to cover it yet. Y'all are global. So is that correct? So jobs globally.
Yeah, really important. And that's kind of because we came out of the offshore. That was a kind of our kind of beachhead market. We're onshore as well, but the offshore, as people probably know, the offshore contract workers, like, they go everywhere. We can do domestic too, but we're UK, US, because actually, if you look at the demographic, there's probably a bit in India, a bit in the Middle East too, a little bit in Brazil, but an awful lot of globally mobile contract energy workers, both renewable and oil field, kind of come from the UK and the US. So that's, if there's people watching from other parts of the world, that's our 2 hub locations.
That's great. I'm so happy that we're able to provide this to the users. And what's more important is we're focusing on the energy worker. And at Flipping the Barrel too, that's the reason why Massiel and I even started FTB, was we wanted to shine a light on the oil and gas industry, on energy around the world, and it just wasn't being done. And to have an app being created to focus on the worker, to give them the flexibility in their day-to-day lives is really important, and a really great way to move into the future of the way to work. Because as you mentioned, if it's not Mobilize, it's going to be somebody. And the way that we currently, hire and do field work is changing and evolving, and the field workers themselves are wanting to find opportunities maybe outside of their current capacity, and they want to be able to do cross function. So maybe not just do directly offshore, maybe they want to do some renewable if there's some option there for them as well. So I think what y'all have brought to the market is great timing.
Can I chime in on that, Jamie? That last point. Energy workers can get left behind, right? If you look at the coal industry and what happened there, and there all these skills and expertise that exist in the coal industry are equally applicable in oil and gas and renewables and nuclear. But there were no horizontal ladders for coal workers to kind of scurry over and keep earning good money keep kind of like monetizing their skills. And as you know, with the energy sector now, if you've been like a 30-year oil and gas person, but you're smart enough to know there's a lot of money getting spent on other types of energy now, and maybe I want a piece of that pie. Mobilize can be one of your gateways to make sure you don't get left behind, or you at least understand all the options, and then maybe you choose to stay where you are. But we have to learn from the lessons of the past. We can't leave no energy worker left behind. There you go.
I love it. No, thank you so much, Mark. And thank you everybody who joined us and those that weren't able to join during this time frame, because I know sometimes it runs people's lunch. We'll have this live on LinkedIn. We'll also share it on YouTube so people can come after and watch it, and it will show up also on those that missed it on their LinkedIns as well. So thank you, Mark. And please add Mark on your LinkedIn, add Mobilize on social media, follow them. I think they're going to continue to do great things, and I'm sure it's going to evolve as y'all continue to evolve the tech. So thank you, Mark, for joining us today.
Thank you, Jamie. Thanks to Flipping the Barrel, and thanks for everybody who tuned in. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Bye.